All right, people, we need your support. This channel exists because you believe in our stories. We're not funded by big corporations. We're not bought by special interests. We're independent for the people, by the people. And we're here to speak the truth of our communities across the country. Every story we bring to you about injustices, about our culture, about what's really going on in our neighborhood is powered by us, and hopefully now by you. We're asking every single viewer who values what we're doing here to help us stay independent. If just a few of you would donate $2 to $5, it'll make a huge difference. It's easy. You could send support through Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. Your donation doesn't just keep the lights on, it keeps our voices strong. We're not just another YouTube channel. We're your news, we're your platform, we're your movement. So if you rock with us, if you believe in independent Latino media, drop $2, $3, or $5 today. Thank you so much for watching, supporting, and standing with us. We're just getting started. Let's grow together.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Doughboy Tony. We back with another episode of What's the Word on Wednesdays on the realest platform on YouTube, American Cholo. Today we got the homie back in the building, man. The philosopher. What's up, dog? How you been?
Man, dog, it's been hard out there in Mexico, homie. But I'm back, fool. I'm back, dog. They caught me slacking, homie, but I'm back, G. Don't even trip.
Shit, we missed you in here, my boy.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing, man. Yeah, just been out there working a bit, dog. You know, started working with the homie welding and shit, so I had to get a little situated real quick.
That's what's up, dog.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Alabama to see me, dog.
Oh, hey, man. He's Alabama's been on suicide watch, bro, since you've been gone, dog. So.
Well, hey, do a flip, homie.
Bro, he man, I don't know how many hammers he's bought, but by this time I think he's just hoping that you come back. So I think every week he like brings a different hammer.
Yeah,
you know?
Okay.
So
he just got one in each hand. He's just chucking them at trees, dog.
yeah,
like
just,
stars.
why doesn't he come back yet? Oh, why does he hate me?
What does he call me, dog? Where's Mark Anthony?
Where's pansexual Mark
Yeah,
Anthony?
damn. Fool.
Damn.
Fool.
Mark Anthony, man.
Hey, fool.
Shit, he's gonna be happy though. What's up with you, Frankie? How you doing?
Man, just happy that this fool's back, fool. You
Right.
know, happy to have the crew back. Obviously, OG couldn't make it today with us, but we're gonna have a great show, and we have a lot to talk about. You know, the things that are happening are heartbreaking, to say the least, bro. So, I think for me, like most of my time has been really consumed with just being out there and protecting the community any way that I can. So,
No doubt.
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is what the third episode we do, right?
Yeah.
While this has been kind of going down, it hasn't gotten any easier. I'll say that, you know, for people in the community, and you know, I think I don't know if it's gonna get any easier anytime soon. It doesn't seem like there's no progression, is what I'm kind of trying to say.
nah,
The situation.
not at all, man. Just from seeing everybody kind of double down. I don't know if you guys caught Vice President Vance. I think it was last Friday that he was out here in LA. He stopped by for maybe like a couple hours, and then he took off. He came down here to give like his nonsense.
Touch the soil real quick and bounce.
Yeah, he came over here to just speak a bunch of lies and then take off, right? And he called the first Latino senator from California by his wrong name, right? His name is Alex Padilla.
Yeah.
Called him Jose Padilla, even though he served with them for 2 years on the Senate.
Yeah.
And as the vice president, that makes you the president of the Senate. So somebody that you've known for at least 2.5 years,
Yeah.
right? It was super blatant that, come on, bro. Like
He's being a dick about it.
yeah, you're being a jerk about it. You are. It's either it's full of racist undertones, because I'm like, come on, man. Like, you know that guy's name.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go out there and pretend that his name is Jose. I know we all look the same, right? But we all come in different sizes and colors and shapes, and we all have different names. And that guy's name, the first senator, Latino senator of California, is Alex Padilla.
Yeah.
And beyond that, dude, like, what, you don't prepare for these speeches? You didn't rehearse this? Well, that was freestyle?
Oh.
I'm expected to believe that was just a freestyle speech, bro. You know what I mean? You don't have an assistant, somebody here to proofread this for you, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You went out your way, bro, and then you picked Jose.
Did you see the two dudes that were right next to him when he's giving his speech? How
Nah, I didn't see.
uncomfortable they were, bro. They looked like they were up there, and they looked like they were constipated because they're just like
Damn.
either they're on a sick one because their eyes were wide open, right? Or they're just super uncomfortable being up there and be like, man, this fool again, like this dumbass. I'm like, bro, I can't believe like I got to sit here and listen to this fool speak again. And you saw rather quickly Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom come back and clap back at Vice President Vance. But man,
why do you think it was easier for him to like kind of just get up and dip right after?
he didn't want to be. He really didn't want to.
He didn't want to face like the reality of it, huh?
Yeah, of course.
What's going on?
It was just a speaking point. It was just more propaganda. It was just him coming out here saying like, I'm showing face and I'm seeing what's happening in LA.
That's part of the tour.
Yeah, boots on the ground supposedly, and I got some information from people here, but it's just to continue to further that agenda. It's like if he really cared, he would spend some time out here. If he really cared, he would go to see what's happening on the ground, but he's not. It was just more of a propaganda run. Yeah. So he popped in and he's like, nope, too many brown and black folks. I got to get out of here.
He was sweating taking that interview.
For sure. And then he dipped, but it was interesting to me because you see Karen Bass and you see Gavin Newsom come at him and really, go at him, for his tirade, which was not factual at all whatsoever. But I got a big problem with Karen Bass. I obviously have stated my problems with Newsom on this very platform. But my problems with Karen Bass is like you're really quick to come out and continue to use the media in your favor. You say all the right things, that you're on our side and that you don't want DHS or ICE in here, and you condemn them at every single point. But if we just saw from yesterday, right, you saw those LAPD officers that were walling off individuals who were exercising their First Amendment right, while they had another illegal abduction, right? The reason why the LAPD was called out there, right, because somebody called saying, hey, I'm being abducted. Somebody's kidnapping one of our community members, and everybody showed up. And then it was right in front of LAPD headquarters. And you had LAPD come out there, and I don't know if you guys have seen like the news clippings or social media or anything, right? But they made like this wall around the supposed federal agents or ICE agents that were detaining this young woman that was there. And from what I heard is that young woman is actually an American citizen.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
Because all they're doing is profiling.
Yep.
They're not. It's funny because they're like acting like what they're doing is not something that's wrong, but it's like, how are you deciding who you're gonna?
Yeah, you have to be profiling.
I'm seeing videos of dudes hopping out of trucks and just grabbing people.
Yeah,
So
and a mob of them, bro, and then they beat the shit out of you, or they go super hard on you because you run. But in reality, like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? You see a van full. I get like cops, of course, they're pulling up in marked vehicles. They're coming out in police uniform, so you kind of know the deal. Like if you run, okay, but a bunch of dudes just masked up and fucking, let's just keep it honest, dog. They're bounty hunters, fool. Just straight up bounty hunters getting hired.
Do you think they're being hired, or you think they're doing this?
Yeah,
they're being hired.
They're
right?
hell yeah being hired, bro.
There's a bunch of,
I mean, dog,
bunch of wannabe dudes, right? Like,
yeah, dog. I seen this. There was a senator that came out, or I forget what he was, man. But there was some congressional hearing where he talked about how they literally were putting out fucking Craigslist ads that were like, we need guys that will be willing to they basically described what this is, right? And they're gonna give them like 50 or 1,000 or 1,500 for fucking basically kidnapping fools, right? Yeah. But again, to your point, like, all right, if you're driving down the street and you're just jumping out, masked up, picking up, like, how do you know this person is illegal or not? What is your fucking barometer to decide this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw this other clip too. It was a guy, I believe he was speaking in a court, and he was saying that he's one of those like bounty hunters.
Yeah,
and that they were offering them like 1,500 per
yeah, immigrant. I think that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
per person that they end up deporting or whatever the situation is, and he was saying like, in order to like counter it, like what would they offer them like to not do it?
Yeah, 2,000. Like, he had like a mask on, right?
Yeah, he had a mask on. Yeah, and so that shit is real.
Yep. No, that's the realest thing. Like, how are you gonna stop them? Go give them more money not to take people?
No, but I'm asking, like, that's like, there's really bounty who's out there.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm
what it
assuming.
looks like to me.
Not only are they dressed the same, not only does it look like that, but ICE was running out of money like a week ago, dog. You know what I mean? So like, okay, so how are you getting all these cats? And to be real, probably not even just bounty hunters. They're probably just a bunch of good old boys who want to do this shit anyways.
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder what the percentages of people that are out there not hired and just doing it just to do it.
And what I really want to know
And
is
where are they taking them?
where are they taking them, and are they turning everyone in? Because if you have these cats that are really out here that don't give a fuck and they're on some like personal agenda, and you have any extremists in there, I mean, dog, like who's keeping track of this shit? That's what I really want. That's why anytime I hear about somebody got deported, I'm like, have you heard from them? It's like the first question, dog.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like, bro, and then they're taking kids and
People are getting
swooping them.
lost like crazy, right?
Come on, dog. You know what I mean?
Which, I mean, the system does have a fault for that. I mean, the system is pretty fucked up when it comes to that, but I don't understand how people are getting lost like that crazy. So it goes to that question is valid.
You know what I
whether
mean?
these people are legit or not.
You know, we always wear a tinfoil hat on this podcast, and I believe that what's happening is state-sponsored human trafficking.
Yes, sir. That's why I want to know about the kids.
Because we don't know where these individuals end up. We don't know where the kids are at. We don't know where these individuals end up getting sent. There was a congressional hearing, or there was, I think Congress just approved Mr. Trump's advocating for deporting individuals to like third-party countries, right?
Yeah,
so
Salvador.
so he doesn't have to deport you to the country of origin,
Like your home country.
exactly. So he was speaking about deporting individuals to Sudan.
What?
Yeah, bro. So it's something that not only are you not going to back to your country, they're deporting you halfway around the world.
You can end up like in the Middle East somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was approved by Congress.
You know what trips me out, bro? You know what just puts like another tinfoil hat on my head as you say that, because I didn't know. But what, in my point of view, dog, we're in some apocalyptic times, dog. You know, and this war even validates it even more so for me. So I start to wonder, like, all right, so these people that do believe in God, be it Christians or Catholics, whatever, but people that do hold their faith, right? They're supposed to go through some pretty shitty ass times. But wouldn't that be crazy if after this, like, America really does change its face, right? Like our policies really change, that this dictatorship kind of comments were kind of slightly true. And next thing you know, you have Christians getting like deported out. It's for deportation right now, but it starts to expand into like your faith, and they start deporting Christians to Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, or China, where they have these concentration camps where they have Muslims already in there. You know what I mean? It starts segueing some of that, bro. But it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you send... You know what? If you have a bunch of Latinos and you just scatter them around Latin America or whatever, Central America, South America, then all right, fine, fuck it. Why would you send them to the Middle East?
That's where a lot of the questions of this state-sponsored human trafficking were coming from.
You know what I mean?
Where why would you send them to a third country that they have no origin, no roots? They have nothing to do with that particular country.
And he just did his little circuit out there.
Yeah. He just did his circuit, to say the least. I guess I really wanted to have you back on the podcast because I wanted to ask you, right? I one of the last podcast we did with Gil, we talked about one of the voting issues that a lot of individuals who voted for Trump and voted on, obviously got on the bandwagon, was that he was going to keep the peace. That he wasn't a wartime president, that he wasn't going to get us involved in any foreign affairs or foreign wars. How do you feel? Because I know you always have your tinfoil hat on. How do you feel about what's going on right now between Iran and Israel and all the promises that he's broke?
Well, to be honest, bro, that's a crazy one for me, dog, because where I'm at really is I'm trying to figure out which fucking tinfoil hat I'm supposed to put on for this one, right? Because like I said, and on one side, bro, it's like apocryphal as fuck, dog. Like when I look at it, there was never a time where it was more so. I don't know if you guys remember, but when his first presidency, they basically were saying he was like the Messiah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they already kind of, and then he had his whole temple building little journey he was going through, right? There was a lot kind of set up for this cat. Next thing you know, I mean, this Antichrist figure, and there's supposed to be several of them through history, right? It's not like one cat, but this Antichrist figure, especially towards the end, is supposed to sit down and promise peace and bring peace and blah blah blah, and we're gonna kind of fall for it, see it for a cool minute. His first presidency, he kind of did, dog. He had North Korea and South Korea cool. We had no wars. Russia was chilling. It was like the first time we really weren't at war like that, or just occupying for the fuck of it. And then next thing you know, he brings out just the holy war like a motherfucker, dog. Like he kind of ushered it in. If you really think about it, it's kind of a trip that he does this Midnight Hammer fucking drop. Right? Have you guys ever seen the animated series I Pet Goat?
No.
Nah.
Oh, bro. For anybody out there that has ever seen I Pet Goat, and if you haven't, go watch it. Once this shit is over, watch it real quick. It's like a 5-minute video, man. There's 2 series of it. If you watch the second one, it's pretty much a prediction of what's to come since like 9/11. Right. But there's no words. It's all just images passing up. And we were at a point where there were these 3 like stealth bombers that hit this temple on a mountain, and up until right now when this happened, we're part of the seriousness, right? It has predicted everything on point, and now it basically hits this this little, it's like a mound that has a synagogue on it that looks exactly like the one that got hit. 3 of them fly over. You know, there's 3 of these strikes that happen, right? Next thing you know, there's this egg. There's like a kid that's living in an egg, and you can see him. But right after the strike happens, the egg cracks. There's like a monitor that's attached with this like satanic figure, right? Basically feeding information to this kid that is just born out of this kind of chaos, dog. And it's supposed to be the ushering in of like the end times. One of the other signs was the fucking, what was it? Russia and Turkey were supposed to bond together. If you look at it, like, bro, you had these, what was it, Iran saying death to America in the UN and all this crazy out of pocket shit, dog. Like 3-4 years ago, you had these UN meetings, or not even that, maybe 2 years ago, you had these UN meetings where they're saying it's time for America to not be the superpower, dog. Like it's kind of a trip. So one of my minds, I'm like, bro, is this really the ushering in of this like end times? The other thing I start thinking of is what happened with all the alien shit, dog. You know what I mean? We were kind of like, there was a lot of disclosure coming out, a fuck ton of disclosure coming out, bro. You had these Epstein things going on, right? Out of nowhere. In my mind, would it really be a crazy, crazy idea if, while we have all this disclosure going on, you have all these sightings, like a lot of legit footage for the first fucking time, right?
Yeah.
Trump sends out this fucking random ass strike that's supposed to fuck up all these facilities. I mean, he's going around doing his circuit already. Next thing you know, Iran fucking strikes back. Israel strikes back. They usher in this whole war. I mean, there's no better way to get America to come in than to be like, bro, I just told y'all not to do this shit. You know what I mean? I just dropped these fucking bombs. But what if it's really just to stop you from actually seeing all this other out of pocket shit that is happening? This whole disclosure thing. Israel has a space defense fucking department as well.
Yeah.
Right. We just created this fucking
Space Force.
Space Force. Right. What if imagine for a moment it's not even the U.S. dropping this Midnight Hammer shit, dog. That you really start to see like this weird alien intergalactic fucking war start happening that they've kind of been prepping for, and they're just like, hey, this shit's happening. That's kind of my two opinions on it, dog. I don't think, especially for Trump, man, I'm so disappointed this time around, where I didn't think he was really part of the system. And the more and more this goes on, the more and more I'm saying, like, this is still all just part of the fucking script. But what part of the script could it be then? If it's business as usual, and then the guy that's part of the script is supposed to be the guy that shakes everything up, goes against the system entirely, right? And everybody hates in the Democrat Party. Everybody's against, right? He creates this whole fucking syndrome. He's such a big monumental figure that's shaking it all up. But if you're part of the script, and that means you're part of the script is to break the entire system itself.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to rebuild around it then? Because you can't be the one to rebuild it, dog.
No.
You know what I mean? If it's not us sitting down doing some shit, then that's kind of scary to be like, oh, this is like a Trojan horse moment, right? Where we're kind of burning Rome ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's anything that hasn't been already kind of like proven at this point, is that he's just like another puppet, bro. He's in Israel's pocket, really.
Really?
You know,
And-
'cause why are
for sure.
Why are we out there trying to fight finish a war that has not nothing
After
to do with us.
Israel said we're not even going for them no more, dog. We don't need America.
Yeah, not just that. It's like, you know, he pretty much was a big advocate of America first and no wars. And now this is like, what the fuck?
And we set up like the most fucking insane strike ever, dog. We're setting like 100 and so fucking.
I saw a clip that showed the strikes were like in like nothing but mountain ranges.
Yeah.
But were they like the nuclear facilities underground or
Yeah.
they were underground?
Yeah, they put them underground.
Because I saw people saying like they didn't they just fucking hit mountains. They didn't hit nothing.
Well, I think that was to stop to jam all their anti-air shit. So they sent out. They had a submarine that slid in there, and they pretty much turned all the comms off. Right, so everybody like synchronized. They met up together. They sent them from like 4 different spots, or they even sent jets out too. Yeah. And then they had a submarine that shot like 170 or 180 fucking missiles.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you, Gian, I'm glad that you're here with your tinfoil hat firmly placed on.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The question that I have is, number one, why is the United States, Israel, and Iran announcing their plans, their strike plans? They're announcing, you know, what sites they're going to hit. Yeah. You had Trump saying that he got a warning from Iran that they were going to strike X, Y, and Z. Why would, in any type of military tactic, why would you announce what your play? Why would you show your hand? Not only the United States has done that, not only has Israel, but Iran as well. Yeah. They all have come up and they've all said like, oh, well, you know, the other team showed me their hand, you know, the states showed me their hand, Israel, such and so forth. It's confusing because are they all in on it? Is it just all part of a show?
Well, we're the bodies, fool. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's part of the play. We're all the body. Israel's a really small place, dog, and they've been getting hit really, really, really hard. I'd expect you to have just a mountain of bodies. Like, how are you telling them, oh, you should leave now? It's just part of the play, dog.
So I wanted to touch on something that Doughboy said. Doughboy said that Trump is in Israel's pocket. And I was watching, number one, I think she's obviously super eloquent and very articulate, Candace Owens.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't agree with a lot of the things that Candace Owens has to say, but she is very factual. She's very intelligent. She's very well read. One thing that she mentioned, which I wanted to say for this podcast until you came, is that she floated the idea that Jeffrey Epstein was an undercover agent for Mossad.
Yep.
And he was sent to the States, or he infiltrated the States to get and blackmail top U.S. officials. Yep. And that is the major reason why the Epstein files continue to be, you know, buried underground. Yep. Why they don't continue to come out. Yep. You saw Elon Musk.
Homie.
An about face about, you know, hey, he's on those files, and then, hey, I'm just kidding. Yep. I'm just, you know, my hands are off of it, right?
Homies had a call.
Like, how much validity do you put behind that theory that Epstein was a Mossad agent that was here to infiltrate, and he has a bunch of, you know, information to blackmail top U.S. officials, which includes Trump?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I said I'm having a hard time choosing between the tinfoil hats, because that's why I said you had the Epstein files and this alien disclosure shit. Because before this, those were the two big ones that were happening. And then this war shut everything off. And now this is all we're fucking seeing. But before this, all you were seeing was where are the files at? And we started asking the question. Elon came out fucking hot, and you had all this disclosure shit. Wasn't fucking Ghislaine Maxwell's dad Mossad? You know what I mean? Like, come on, dog. At the end of the day, it does not shock me out. He buys his jet. Like, there were a lot of things there that you're just hoping to be like, bro, look, everything else you're doing, I'm really hoping that you're not that guy and you just had money and said, fuck it, whatever. But now looking back and in retrospect, it's kind of like, yeah, okay. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Everything's there for it to line up. And I mean, again, we dropped this fucking hammer. We just say, fuck it, we're going to slide up in there, dog. The moment fucking Elon starts bringing this shit up, and it works, dog. We're not going to talk about shit but war. And I mean, let's not pretend that this isn't the story that has been around for a very long time. And when it comes to this, like, really Zionist, dog, that's what they do. They infiltrate, they find a way to steal power, and a lot of times it is going to be through corruption and blackmailing. It's not just money, bro. Money ain't enough. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's what Mossad does, and that's what they do well, bro. They get all that information. They'll kill you and assassinate your character before they assassinate you, dog. And then they can do that pretty fucking well too. That's why I wonder a lot about that shot. You know what I mean? Where Trump just ducked, like, damn, okay.
I think if there was I could see there being a lot of truth behind what you said, and I think that if it is true, then I think this country would forever be in Israel's pocket.
It is.
Because this is not just a Trump thing issue. This is like every American politician, high-ranking individual in this country issue.
Yeah, and
like,
you know,
they all have pictures with these people. They've all partied with these people. They all do things with these people. That it's just, it's going to be an ongoing cycle.
the whole system's in it.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, have you had an opportunity to check out Tucker Carlson interview Ted Cruz
No.
and him just kind of laying, which like I
that's
said,
tight.
me and Tucker, I've never liked them.
Oh, I did. I saw
Yeah.
part of it
I
where
saw clips of it.
Yeah, where he was
Yeah.
saying like you don't even know like how many people are in Iran and blah
The
blah blah. He didn't know
population,
shit. Yeah,
the
I
ethnic
saw a clip
makeup,
of it. Yeah,
all of that,
Yeah.
right? Which leads into obviously us talking about money that is being infiltrated into U.S. politics, right?
They're both super right-wing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're both
Right.
super MAGA.
But just he's being real about the situations and he's calling shit out, right?
Well, he got booted from Fox News.
yes sir.
He got booted from Fox
He's like
News.
independent now.
So now he's independent. So
Yeah.
you, for the first
He's being
time,
real. He's doing what we all should be doing, and that's questioning our officials, no matter whether you like them or not.
which is a trip because I saw him, I saw Steve Bannon, I saw Candace Owens all
Yep.
really take the same position.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some of them, asked for Trump's impeachment. If he continues to move forward with this war with Iran,
Yeah.
they all asked for his impeachment,
Yeah.
which actually got denied. I don't know if you guys knew, right? Everybody out there, there was a impeachment proceedings that were brought up to the Congress, and it was voted down. And you would think that all the Democrats, right, when it comes to what's happening right now, would be in favor of his impeachment, but 125 Dems backed Trump up.
Yep. And that the crazy part, dog, that was
So
the
they
thing.
didn't vote for the impeachment.
Nope.
They didn't vote for the impeachment.
And you
How
would
do you explain
think, dog, they would have been starving for that. Fool.
Yeah.
If anything doesn't say, yeah, okay, you're part of the script. This is your role. It's that.
that? It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that 125 Democrats back that up.
Yep.
And we consistently see them, right? We consistently see that whatever line you may be, right? We consistently see them come out and say, I am, adamantly against, Trump and his own organization, his administration, such and so forth. But when you have the opportunity to vote him out, or you have the opportunity to obviously pass legislation that is going to actually do something, you fold under pressure because you're more worried about your pockets, your career, your political life than the lives of the people that you're serving.
Yep.
So do you believe that what's happening in our streets, what's happening in California right now is first of all, they're infringing on our rights.
Oh, of course.
Do you believe that this is part of the whole distraction when it comes to all the other things that are happening in our country right now?
To be honest, dog, I think that, look, before we go to war, we do like war games, right? We'll have jets flying around cities and reenacting attacks and bombs and this, that, and then we'll send out all kinds of, like, if you pay attention, bro, like FEMA will be setting up right before these Katrina comes through, dog. Like there's always this moment just before, dog. And I think that what we're watching is literally kind of an experiment, bro. I forget what the percentages of people that live in LA compared to the States, but it's a mass percent, dog. Like if you were going to see how you can actually affect a metropolis, LA is a great spot to see. Like how could we round up? To me, I hate doing this comparison, dog, but all of this immigration shit, all of this rounding people up, it's a very stark reminder of concentration camps and Nazis, right? Like what were you doing back then, bro? You're walking up to randos in the street. Let me see your papers. Put this star on them. Put that patch on them. Put this triangle on them. Right? Like it's how is it any different? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And before we continue with that, I want to hit this super chat real quick. Milton Ortiz said Ted Cruz didn't even know what to say about the APAC questions. What do you think about that, Frankie? I honestly didn't get to see the whole thing, but I know you might have watched it.
I think the thing that really stood out for me, it came out of Ted Cruz's mouth. And the thing that stood out that he said was, as soon as I joined Congress, my number one goal was to further the interest of Israel.
Oh, okay.
And
Tight.
that's when Tucker kind of came back and said, wait, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
So you're putting a foreign country, another country's interest above the interest of the United States.
You should be automatically booted.
Which it came out of his mouth. This isn't something that we're making up. And everybody at home, you guys can go out there and see this interview. And he said it himself. And why are we not treating Ted Cruz as a traitor?
Sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's doing the exact same thing, bro. He's protecting his pocket.
Because all I continue to hear when it comes to individuals who are violating our constitutional rights here in the country that we live in, specifically in California and other heavy Latino populated, metropolises, right? They continue to step all over our human rights and step all over our constitutional rights. And I continue to have this argument with a lot of people out in the world where a lot of people mistakenly believe that habeas corpus does not apply to immigrants. It only applies to citizens. So I wanted to I have some notations here and I wanted to read some stuff for everybody out there just to clarify it. You guys can go out there and do your own research, right? Don't believe me, but this is stuff that is just in the Constitution, right? So habeas corpus is a legal principle that protects individuals from being unlawfully detained. It gives any person, citizen or not, the right to challenge the legality of their imprisonment or detention before a judge. And legal proceedings behind that, right, was Wu versus Hopkins. The Supreme Court ruled that non-citizens are persons under the Constitution and are entitled to equal protection and due process. So I don't want to continue to hear people talk about that immigrants are not afforded due process, are not afforded those protections that are provided to everybody here in the United States, whether you're a citizen or not.
Yep. No, you know what, to be honest, bro, don't even say that, because if they continue to debate that with you, it just shows that they actually don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're not even looking up their arguments. You know what I mean? Like it says in black and white, citizens or not, any person. Like that's legalese for you, dog, any person.
It's written down.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to debate that, yeah, definitely.
Super hard to debate, right? Because you have just a laundry list of amendments and rights that are being violated, right? We have medical neglect, which is the 8th Amendment, right? The 8th Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, which courts have extended to unconstitutional conditions of confinement for civil detainees, which we have on multiple occasions on this platform informed individuals out there that it's not it's a civil infraction to cross the border.
Yep.
It's not a criminal infraction.
Yep.
Right. And a lot of people want to come back and say, well, it's a criminal infraction if you're deported and you're caught and come back. But how do you know that?
Yeah.
How if you're driving around and you see a bunch of brown people in front of Home Depot or in front of some, doing their job, their landscaping job?
He looks like he's been deported and came back.
How do you know that?
I think he did.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
These motherfuckers are fucking.
Yeah, he's got the shirt.
They're just stereotyping, bro.
Yeah, and they're just collecting a check, bro. I think that meeting says it best. Like, how do you stop him? You can't incentivize more money to stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And it's going out to the 4th Amendment, right? The 4th Amendment, the 4th Amendment stops warrantless searches, stops, and arrests, right? Border Patrol currently is conducting unauthorized stops and arrests without reasonable suspicion or warrants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's all stated there, right? Going to the 5th Amendment, wrongful detention and deportation of U.S. citizens. So there's an example. Jose Hermosillo was held for 10 days despite proof of citizenship. The 5th Amendment requires due process before depriving liberty.
what I want to know, bro? What's happening? Okay, so what is the repercussions of when they're doing this to American citizens? They just slap them on the wrist and let them go? Like, hey, my bad. Like, you guys are traumatizing fools, beating the shit out of fools, arresting people. People could be losing their jobs. Their cars are being left on the side of the road, dog. Like, what is going to be the reconcile for this? You know, like, fine, you're going to do a slap on the wrist for the immigrants, but what about, like, all these American citizens you're locking up now?
Yeah, and we got somebody in the comments. P Dog said, "So those guys are bounty hunters?" Question mark. Define bounty hunters. And I think I know where he's gonna go with this. Kind of, he's probably gonna say if they're bounty hunters and the people they're hunting
Criminals.
have bounties on them.
Yeah, no, that doesn't mean that at all.
And maybe we misuse the word.
No, that's like
the
saying
term bounty hunters.
That's like ex-military. That's a mercenary now. Like, you can hire a mercenary just to protect your property.
We should call them mercenaries more.
Yeah,
so than,
I think that's a much better. Yeah,
because they're
more. Yeah, they're mercenaries. We're saying to call these people mercenaries instead of bounty hunters. Yeah, I would agree.
Because they're monetizing it. The reason that they're doing it is because they're getting paid $1,500 a person.
Yeah, they're contracted out literally.
You know, and you continue, and people continue, in whether it's in the comments, out in the social media world, continue to debate facts.
Yeah,
which is one thing that I don't ever understand. And I think I said this on the podcast this past week, but Immortal Technique, one of my favorite artists, has been on the show as well. Super incredibly well read, incredibly well versed. One of the quotes that I took from him that I regurgitated and I used, right, is, you know, you can beat 40 scholars with one fact, but you can't beat one idiot with 40 facts.
Yep.
And
bar.
At this point, those individuals that it's in black and white, this is in my opinion.
Oh.
This is legality. This is the Constitution that we're sworn to follow. We're sworn to uphold and protect those individuals that you guys are protecting, these so-called federal agents. At what point do you guys understand that you guys are just sheep?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have bought into the cult, and you're cult followers.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And the point of it, bro, America's an experiment where we have a luxury here. While we have this luxury of being able to challenge our government, dog, that the reason why we have our checks and balances, the reason why we have the 3 forms of government, the reason why we have a constitution and amendments is to make sure that all power eventually is going to try to funnel towards one person or one group, dog. And what they're going to do with that is always going to be some outlandish, out-of-pocket shit, dog. The whole point is to make sure that, like Hitler said it best, bro, you're not going to sit down. If I want your gun, I don't take your gun. I take piece by piece. I take not all your rights. I take a little strip of the rights, until eventually you wake up with none of them, dog. So when you're looking at this shit, when you're seeing, it doesn't matter if they're bounty hunters, if they're mercenaries, if they're LAPD, if they're just local goons getting paid to do it. The problem is that it's not being done through the right channels.
Yeah.
And that's what matters the most. That's what keeps everything from falling in slippery slope to falling into a tyrannical government or just some out-of-pocket government. You know what I mean? Is eventually it can be you, dog. Eventually it can be whatever they want to turn into. It can be a religious group. It can be Mexicans today. But whatever your domestic terrorist is tomorrow, you know what I mean? You got to go through the right processes.
Yeah. P Dog said, "Nah, bro, I'm not going anywhere. I just tuned in. I support y'all's logic." Nah, yeah, we definitely always see you in the comments, P Dog. Shout out to you, man. But I was just taking on your comment because I do agree that we probably misused the word bounty hunters. You know, we probably should have said something else because that does make it sound like they're out here collecting bounties and shit.
Well, I mean, you are.
But I feel like when I hear the term bounty hunter, is like, there's some, like, you might have a bounty out for you, but in terms of, like,
you have a bounty out for you, but that doesn't make it justified.
Yeah, but realistically, like, as a demographic, we all have a bounty on us.
Yeah,
now is what it seems like.
Yeah, and the people being paid to go take you are going to collect the bounty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think it just becomes like a semantics thing, right? Because, like, for example, when ICE was running out of money, they can use, I mean, they had fucking, what was it, the military, the fucking National Guard pull up, right? And they're performing the same fucking, the same objective, right? I mean, they're still 2 different factions, right? But am I going to really sit down? No, I mean, it's, if you're taking an ad out for bounty hunters as a job to do this other job, you're pulling from bounty hunters to do some, side gigs. They're still bounty hunters by trade, you know?
Facts. Shout out to Raider Tommy, man, with the super chat. Salute, fellas. Salute to you,
Right.
brother.
That's right, my boy.
Appreciate you
Salute.
tapping in. We got Jorge Lujan Sr. with $2 super chat. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
right.
But yeah, man, I mean, damn, it's crazy because it's like all these
Red did.
things that were going on, like philosopher was saying. I trip out because I feel like there's so many different tinfoil hats to put on, bro.
Yeah.
And there's one that always keeps me coming back around, and it's the fact that Iran being one of the, I believe, 4 countries in the world that do not have like any banking system that has to do
Yep.
anything with the
No
Jews,
Federal Reserve, no central
with
bank.
Israel or any
Yeah.
Jews or nothing like
Yeah.
that. No Federal Reserve.
Yeah. Well, it's like
What do you think of
Gaddafi.
that? Do
I
you think
think
this is like a big play for that?
Yeah, bro. I think before 9/11, they had this fucking war meeting where they're talking about the 7 nations that they're going to take over in the Middle East, dog, and that this has just been a play-by-play. They've got like 3, 4 left to go, bro. But you look at it, Syria is like an open-air slave trade right now. You know, like what have we been doing for the past like 2 decades, dog? Who have we been fucking with? It's all just the Middle East, bro.
Yeah.
And it's all just because this tiny little pebble says, hey, fuck these guys. They're fucking with us. But yeah, they have no central bank, dog. Look at Gaddafi, dog. Gaddafi was trying to make it so that you can buy oil in dinar. And they were like, no, fuck that. You know, they killed that fool on live, bro. And Hillary Clinton was laughing about it. We came, he saw, he died. Like, ah, ha, ha. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
bro? Excuse me? Right? Like, yeah, no, I think that they're saying it. They're trying to destabilize all of these nations and, you know, put their own shit up in there. Dude, I think it was like Iran or Syria where, if you look at it in like the 70s, bro, they were fucking popping.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
They were doing really good, bro.
Before we overthrew the government.
They used to be an oligarchy, right?
Yeah.
Like they used to go off royalty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All the Middle East does.
Yeah.
Wow.
So did they have religion? They did,
yeah,
right?
they're
They had-
Muslim.
But even when they were like an oligarchy,
Yeah.
they were always Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no, they
I
were
think-
secular for a while.
Yeah.
They were secular. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that there used to be Christians there too. Like
I'm pretty sure there still
Catholics.
are Christians.
Yeah.
They're perfectly fine, dog. There've been Christians living in the Middle East all throughout the Middle East for a cool minute. Maybe not the fucking Dubai and all that,
Yeah.
whatever that is, Saudis and all that. But yeah, there've been
But
Christians.
now it's like mainly Islamic, right?
Yeah, it's a complete Islamic state, fool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they were cool. You look at them in like the 50s or 70s, I forget what, bro, and I believe they were secular, but
Yeah,
they were
even like the way
popping.
they dressed, the women. and
It was like the
everything, they looked free.
50s. Yeah, they looked like, I think it was like the 70s, and they looked like they were living like the 60s or 50s, but they were like, they had a whole culture, dog. But yeah, we just bombed them back into the Stone Age pretty much. You know, just treat them like shit, fool. Went over there, destabilized. It's all of our, I mean, the Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. It's like we just send this caravan through, change the name, change the flag, give them, like, where are all their fucking equipment coming from, dog?
Yeah, I seen one of the he's a prince from. Well, he's not a prince because his dad was the last one to kind of like be the king of Iran or whatever. He's like fully backing Trump and like everything that's going on against Iran right now, which surprises me because I mean it is his country, but I think he's trying to get it back. He thinks or believes that this is like a perfect time for an uprising to go back to the times when they were like an oligarchy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, dog. To be honest, bro, this is, again, when it comes to everything that goes on out there, my tinfoil hat is on so damn tight, bro, that it's like, I don't
It's
know.
crazy. It's like theater to me, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like theater.
Yeah, that's what. But the question that's exactly how it feels like to me. But the question is like, sometimes I feel like I'm not watching a play, and then I realize, oh no, I'm still watching this play. And what is the show, dog?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What part of the show am I in? Because if you really want to like some real fucking conspiratorial shit, have you guys ever heard of the Great Reset?
I've heard like I don't know much about it, but I've heard about it.
Have you heard about it? The Great Reset? Have you ever heard of Tartaria? All right.
School me.
So check it out. There's this conspiracy out there that the earth actually kind of has been wiped out like 2 or 3 separate times, right? And there's kind of a lot of shit that shows it. The Egyptians have this like hieroglyph set up where they're telling this whole storyline, and then they have these 3 black blocks, 2 or 3 black blocks, which represents like just everything being reset, pretty much a wasting away, right? In the Bible, you have that the earth was already destroyed by water, right? And the next would be by fire. You have all these people coming out now and saying like the Egyptian pyramids are like way older, like 40,000 years old and blah, 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 right? So there's this, what was it? It was like the Great Circus or the Great something, man. I gotta remember. It'll come to me while I'm talking about it. But we had this thing, and I believe it was in San Francisco where, and you can see footage of this shit, bro, where all of these, you ever wonder why you can go to downtown and you see all of these, like, not Masonic as in conspiracy, but Masonic as in stonemasons. That these Masonic buildings that were built up, they're beautiful buildings, so detailed, right? And we don't build anything like that anymore. When you actually look down at it, bro, like everything is built to perfection in these buildings. And then right next to it will be just like a brick building or like a concrete building, and just like shit, we don't build to the same standard. And when you look at it, we don't really have any historical record of it. If you ask ChatGPT how long it'll take to build the the Dodger Stadium, or no, the Yankee Stadium, which was built in like the fucking 1920s, bro, and it was built with just basically horse and buggy style shit, right? It would have taken them like 100 and something years working 12-hour days straight, fool. It's like, well, how did this get built in that time frame? And you start to think about like all these massive buildings that were pretty much just built up at once. A lot of people believe that, I mean, history is wrote by their victor, right? That there was an era where we got into some war in very recent times, right? And that the map was completely changed. You can go to Morocco and see this map of America, dog, that it shows like Egypt being in America, like everything being inverted, right? But there's basically a conspiracy that up until like the 1910s, 1920s, everything we know of history is just a complete lie. All of it is an entire fucking lie.
Before that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like pretty much like these 13 families kind of came together, these bloodlines, and rewrote history entirely, right?
Yeah.
So to me, bro, like I start looking at some of this shit and I start thinking like, all right, man, what is the script, bro? Like, where are we at, dog? Because why is it that everything everywhere seems to really be shattering?
Because that's not super far-fetched, right? If I'm a huge history buff, and any type of videos you guys have seen or movies you guys have seen, when, you know, you have a rival civilization, when they, you know, they come and they pillage, one of the things that they always do is they always burn your literature. Always burn your books. They always burn places of thought, places of worship, right? And they always try to delete you from history.
Trying to erase you.
Take your language, take your name.
You know, so like all the things that you're saying, right? I feel like there's a lot of validity to them because you've seen it time and time again. You've seen it, you know, you've seen it happen in modern times where you try, you know, the victor tries to completely wipe your history from,
I mean,
books.
it's something that didn't even happen that long ago. World War II, bro. That's what Hitler was doing. That's what the Nazis were doing. They were burning all types of books.
That's kind of part of the conspiracy, that these world wars were really just pretty much the global oligarch came together and said, like, it's time for a reset. We're pretty much just going to war with each other, wipe the map, depopulate, retell a story. Like, for example, the Holocaust, bro. We like to say that America saved the world pretty much, but it was really the Russians, right? The Russians really ended the Germans, dog. And if you go back and look, it ended during the winter.
They made the same mistake as Napoleon.
Exactly, dog. And it's like, bro, and then you bring your cameramen back, reenact all this, take your photos later, you wipe history, reset it. You look at okay, going back to the Tartaria thing, right? They were called the Tartarians, apparently, that kind of initially were the people that inhabited this side of America. You go back and look at these pictures when they say they built all of these it was the world parade, I think. The World Circus, the World Parade. I'm gonna look it up right now when you guys start talking about it. They you look at the pictures, these are massive cities, and you're looking down at like hundreds of buildings, and there's nobody in the streets. There's not one person, right? And we never really look at, these are like brown pictures, not even black and white, dog, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll see these old video footage, and it's like all of a sudden a square where there's all these big buildings, there's no road, it's all dirt and mud, and there's hundreds of people that are in like high top hats and really nice tuxedos, right? These ladies in really nice dresses. And then you look back at the cities and they're completely empty.
Damn.
Right? But go ahead, G. Let me look this up real quick.
Nah, you're good.
The
Yeah,
World
wanna-
Fair. That's
the
what it's
World
called.
Fair.
The World Fair.
Like,
okay.
I wanted to touch on what you said earlier. You know, in our conversation, you had mentioned earlier that we're like on a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Not only what we have right now was happening with the immigration situation and them infringing on our constitutional and human rights, where it's a slippery slope to fascism, to authority, to dictatorship, right? I wanted to read something because I have a lot of individuals as well. Like I've seen this argument multiple times on social media where everybody will sit here and argue that the Alien Enemies Act gives Donald Trump the right to do what he's doing, right?
Yep.
So while the Alien Enemies Act can authorize detention or removal, the Constitution still requires that such enforcement not be arbitrary, discriminatory, or cruel.
Yep.
But trip out on this. The last time this act was enacted was World War II. The act was invoked to intern Japanese, German, and Italian nationals.
Oh. Yeah, that's a trip.
Wait, it was to what? Intact.
So the last time the Alien Enemies Act that is currently being used to deport us, right, to attack our people, to attack our communities, the last time it was used was World War II when they interned Japanese, German, and Italian nationals. Because that specific act, you can only forcefully remove people from countries you're at war at.
Yes, sir.
And the last time I checked, you're not at war with Mexico,
Nope.
Central, South America, Asia. So what are you not telling us?
Yeah.
Right? If you you had invoked this act, and the last time is you put good, hardworking people in internment camps. Have we forgotten about what happened to the Japanese here in California?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
to your point, we are on. If you don't learn your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. When they came for the Japanese, I said nothing. When they came for the Jews, I said nothing. And when they came for me, there was no one to say anything, bro. It's like an old adage, bro. That's why it's a melting pot, man.
That is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
We got another super chat, man. I love you, Duno.
Oh yeah.
To Duno, man. $2 super chat.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Denver airport? It has a lot of lore, bro. That's a whole episode on its own, dog. My thoughts is that there is a lot of crazy shit going on at that airport. A lot of either foreshadowing or a lot of just, I don't know what it is, but they're showing us things before they happen, or they're showing us things that are already happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on there, and I think we should have an episode where we dive into the fucking Denver airport, man.
Oh yeah.
And we also had another chat from Joey Knuckles earlier. He said if we wanted to have a Freemason up here, that would be dope.
That would be
I
dope.
would not be opposed to that at all.
Not at all, bro. So
It's gotta be a Shriner though, fool.
Chris, you want to throw the number up there, bro? Just in case. Chat, if anybody wants to give us a call, man, talk about anything that we've brought up in this conversation, go ahead. Or anything else.
So talking about Masons, I lived in Virginia, the DMV area for almost 3 years, and I lived in Alexandria.
There you go.
And in Old Town Alexandria, there's a huge like Masonic temple.
Yeah.
And I would always trip out because I would go to Old Town Alexandria, go grab a bunch of drinks. It doesn't matter what time of night you would come back, bro. Like that place was always open 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So
Where was this?
Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
And one time,
Leave the name though.
one time me and my cousin who I lived with out there, we get super faded and we're like, hey bro, let's walk in and see if they let us inside, bro. Right? So we walk in, we walk all the way up because it's huge, right? It's this huge walkway all the way up, right? And we're walking.
Yo,
Caller. All right.
Caller.
We're gonna come back to the story.
hey, Mark Anthony.
Alabama Mexican in the building, man.
God
What's up?
damn, man. I had a couple weeks off. What's up, G? You miss me?
Hey, man, what's up? You finally got a job, man? What's happening with you with this work?
Nah, fool, I just dress like this for the fuck of it. I'm one of those fools that puts on fucking all those construction fits, dog, but doesn't work.
Hey, American told us that you peel shrimp for a living, bro. Is that true?
Yeah, and you serve them, fool.
Hey,
Come
I'm
on,
not-
fool. It's been like 3 weeks. Do better, dog.
Alabama, I got a question for you, G.
Where's your
What's up,
cousin?
man?
Hey,
Martin, what's up? Martin, what's up?
Hey, you see he's got his
Bro.
notebook full.
hey, you really missed this fool, huh?
Damn.
I was telling Philosopher you're on suicide watch without him, G.
We'll flip, fool.
All right. Well, I do miss his ostrich face looking ass right there, right?
Hey, when are you gonna fucking post your shit up, dog? When are you gonna send it in, fool? What you scared
American
of?
told us that. No, American told us that that's the fuck.
Hey,
up
you
that
better
my
calm down
image
before I
is.
call Bozo, fool. Yeah, you better calm down before I call Bozo, homie. Yeah, take that air out your chest, G.
Hey, this is the fucking.
That's big Anthony to you, dog. That's big Mark Anthony now, fool. Call the homie real
Hey.
fast.
Hey, this is how fucking American Toll's program is. He invites nothing but like politics shit, and then the next day it'll be bozo. Like there is like no middle. Yeah, it's either politics or straight up
Hey,
lowrider music.
that's the beauty of the platform, brother.
Hey, bro, but the homie Bozo's super well read.
Oh, yeah.
Super well read, super
He'll hold,
intelligent.
a
so-
conversation in any.
I thought you already
type of-
found out, fool.
Hey man, first of all, hey,
I heard the phone
Hey,
dropped
Mark,
while you were
hey,
talking to him.
hey, I'm happy to. I see the thing with you guys make the perfect team. Like, see, Mark Anthony, it takes care of like you know, like some conspiracy stuff, and then like sex too. You know what I mean? and Doughboy got the music, and the like the snack department and shit. You know. and Martin,
Motherfucker.
Martin is the fucking or fucking Martin Luther King right here. bro.
Martin.
He brings the books and the scholarly fucking work, dog.
Hey, Martin, I get this energy from you that if a girl gives you head, you get like watery eyes. And shit.
Damn.
The bitch are like, stop saying things. Like, stop saying things to me, man.
What the fuck? All right, Alabama. What's up, man?
What
else
you got for us,
man?
fool?
Shit. Hey, American Cholo got this like glass like timer that's made out of sand. Hey, break that shit, man. I thought if be flipping that, should be like 10 seconds, and then
Hey,
Oh
He takes another
yeah.
call.
I forgot about that, man. We
Hey,
should do that
Bama.
right now.
break,
hey,
hey,
Bama.
break that shit. I'll send a super chat. Break that shit right
You're
now.
on the
You
clock,
got
Bama.
that shit.
Hey, Bama.
You're on the-
Clock,
you're on
Hey,
the clock.
Bama. Why do I feel like you do a Rubik's Cube that has
That's too
missing
much
stickers?
time, G.
That's way too much time for this fool, dog. Fuck. They flip this shit back, dog. Hey, dog, they won't like it, fool. Hey, dog. Sorry, G.
All right. Hey, I got some news.
What's up?
Fuck.
Yo, hey, somebody did a drive-by one of them Waymos today, and they shot a cop. Hey, break that motherfucking glass, man.
They did a what? A drive-by and shot a cop
In a Waymo, yeah.
in a Waymo.
Those are the.
Yeah, those self-driving vehicles,
Self-driving
which is kind
cars.
of that's just kind of crazy, but it's also like actually kind of genius too. Like you can imagine you go spy on your baby mama with one of them cars.
Well, it's gonna track your whole ride, dog.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Those are
from
surveillance
Alabama.
vehicles.
Fool. I forgot.
Those are surveillance
Don't you gotta,
vehicles,
like,
dog.
sign up to
Well,
use
he's
it?
from Alabama, fool.
They don't have that.
We
No,
have
no,
them
hey,
over
that's
there.
Yeah, you know, fool. Come on.
no.
He's
Hey,
still
that-
pushing his
that shit
tractor to
happened
pull up on his baby mama,
I
fool.
thought the Antichrist was coming
Hey.
when they made Teslas, dog.
I know, fool. That's what happens when you marry your
Yo.
cousin.
Yo, they
Hey,
did.
what
that
else,
shit
though,
happened. That shit happened today in Santa Monica. Everything I say is
Damn.
facts, Bill. I'm not into conspiracies. Oh, actually, I got one conspiracy. You guys want to hear that shit or what?
Yeah.
Let's do that, and then we're gonna
Fuck
move on.
yeah.
We got more callers.
Hey, let me put my aluminio hat on, okay, real quick, okay? Hey, yeah. Every time I go to Trader Joe's and I see like a really really hot girl there, like I'm like, yo, somebody got to be paying this bitch like more money somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because if I was a hot ass bitch, I would not work at Trader Joe's, man. So that's a conspiracy right there. What do you guys think about that?
It's all kind of conspiracy. That was an opinion, fool. God, fool. Tell me you from Bama without telling me you from Bama, dog.
Alabama, we appreciate you calling in,
Oh,
man.
fuck
No,
was that?
no, hey, don't.
Hell the fuck no after that
One more.
comment. You gotta go,
Okay,
G.
one more,
One more.
one
That's
more,
it.
one
You're
more.
cut off, fool.
Hey, Doughboy, last time I
Hey,
gave
shake
you
it so it moves faster, fool.
Oh yeah, you.
Remember I gave you a hook?
Yeah, you had a hook. Yeah.
That was the worst hook. It was like a line, fool. It was like a question.
Hey, no, I don't have any hooks or anything, but I got a cool little like song title, and
Okay.
then maybe you can write around that. What do you think?
All right, let me know.
All right. I mean, I wrote it down. It says, when the homies eat all my snacks, I don't like it very much.
That was the worst fucking title
That's
ever.
the whole title, dog. When the homies write
Thank you
the.
for calling in, man.
Thank you for calling in, G.
We should have sang that.
I fucking when the homie fucks his cousin, I hate it. That's the next song.
Yeah. Incest child.
All right, fam. Appreciate you calling in, man.
Hey, one more.
God damn.
Go.
Hey,
This is your fault, bro.
hey, one more.
It's because you keep letting it happen.
Hey, look, I'm talking about the comments now. Hey, these comments, they be leaving comments on me, like talking all this crazy shit. Somebody in the comments
Granted.
somebody in the comments says, did I date a white porter? What the fuck? Hey, block that motherfucker real quick, man.
All right, Bam. Appreciate you calling
Hey,
in.
that's
man.
just me on my other phone,
Hey.
low key.
Hey, take care, yo.
You take care
Don't
too,
forget
brother.
about,
All right, G.
don't forget about the-
Damn, fool. It sounds like he's fading away. Hey, wait, one more, guys. One more. Yeah.
Sorry, Bama.
Thank God.
Had to hit the fade out button.
Thank God for that.
We got another super chat. P-Dog, man. Legality does not equate to morality. Example, once it was legal to have children working in
Exactly.
factories in USA, slaves were legal, segregation was legal, so legality is fluid, not a justification.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's right.
Facts, huh? Facts,
facts.
huh?
Morals and
facts.
ethics on me.
Couldn't have put that any better, bro. this fool getting mad. The chat was on his head.
Damn. Well, of course, though. Damn, homie.
Alabama education.
For real. All bad. All
Fucking
bad.
Bama, bro. But yeah, if anybody else wants to call in and talk about anything, man, let us know. We got another super chat coming in. There we go. Terry Hesticles, bro. Alabama Mexican strikes me as the
Sick
kind of
asshole.
white boy that goes to Home Depot to buy a furniture dolly and puts it in a shopping cart to get into his car. I wouldn't put it past him.
Would not
For
put it
sure.
past him.
Caller, you're live, man.
I don't think there's a such thing as a white torta. Maybe like a white sandwich or some shit.
Hey, that's a sub, homie. That's a
full
sub,
on.
G. Nah, it's only she's tall.
What's up,
That's
caller?
crazy. Nah, I was listening to like a little bit of another podcast, but I had to shut it off earlier because they were on some bullshit. They were on that bullshit about how like the countries in the Middle East, they hate us, they do this, they do that. Like this dude's over there talking about like they hate us. Meanwhile, like we're living here in our own place where we were born, and we got the government coming after us, even if we're born here, bro.
Yeah,
So they want to,
facts.
Israel's pushing this whole agenda with the Middle East because really what they want to do is like they're trying to manifest destiny over there. They want to take over all these Muslim countries, and
Yeah.
they have this little death code with their Christian homies where they want to kill all the Muslims because they want all of us to be Christians, and it's ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
No, facts. I think you couldn't have put it better. Right now, I think we're kind of at war with our own, at least it depends on where you live, really. The communities that you stay in, but we're at war with our own country right now, for sure.
I think people are too
'Cause, like I
preoccupied.
stay in downtown, bro. My bad.
No, you good. I was gonna just say, piggyback off of your comment. I think people are too damn worried about other people's business instead of us concentrating on our damn own.
Yep.
Not only that, but like Christianity comes from the Middle East. Like it doesn't even come from the United States. So this whole idea that they have that Christianity is a white religion is completely ignorant. People don't know history, and that's what happens. But I stay in downtown, and they had a raid the other day on 9th and Main. And I'm not sure who they pulled over. I believe they pulled over someone that had papers. But then there's also like a street vendor on that corner. But the amount of people that they brought, like the amount of agents that they brought for like I think a couple of people was crazy. They had like 10 cops, like 10 high schools. Like it's getting ridiculous, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's out of line, bro. There's a lot of excessive force being used when it doesn't need to, and honestly, they're just doing it on anybody they think they can deport.
The crazy
Deport
thing
with
that I
fixing
think about
fucking-
having so many people and so many officers and federal agents or whoever the fuck they are, right? is the amount of money, taxpayer money, that's being spent.
Yeah.
The overtime, all the money that the different pays that they get, the hazard pay and all this different pay that they get, which is a trip because it's all coming out of our pocket.
Yep. To fuck us up.
I'm not sure if you guys heard that they were paying like $700 a room. Like they were getting these dudes from ICE like a room in like these fancy hotels, and it was supposedly it was like $700 a night. I don't know if they cut them a deal or I'm not sure how that works, but $700 is like, damn, bro, like
That's
you know
a
what I
nice
mean?
little
So
night.
I guess this is part of like a global white supremacist movement, because like this whole Israel thing, and now you see how they brought the South African white people over here, and now they're messing with us. They want to genocide the Palestinians. They want to kick us out of the United States and all this shit. It's part of this like greater white supremacist movement, and it's like, bro, we're not in the 50s no more. You know, there's a bunch of white boys. All those white woke people, man, salute to them. Salute to Alabama Mexican and his white woke torta, homie. all right, local. Hey, have a good one.
All right, my boy, appreciate you, big dog.
man.
Hey, the
All
one
right.
thing that I say though is, and what the caller said last is the white and the Israeli thing are different. Like if you look at white supremacists, the number one people on their list are actually Jews.
Yeah.
You know, that's the number one opponent to these white supremacist the real white supremacists. And these Israeli cats, we can debate on, you know, where they come from and where they're, you know, actually from, but it's definitely not Europe. You know, they're definitely not white.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat says. Has it happened to you guys, the ones podcasting? What are you talking about? Are you talking about like the profiling?
Hey,
Because
my bad, bro.
if you're talking about like in general, I've been profiled. But if you're talking about like right now, no. Thank God it hasn't happened to me. But it has happened to people who I know. It's happening in my community. Bro, check this out. I happen to be on the other end of this shit. So I was with my family. We were on our way to a dinner.
Fool, you're trying to deport people and shit.
Fool, check it out, fool. Listen.
Damn.
I was with my family. We're on the way to dinner for my dad's birthday. My pops was driving, right? So we're in a white Tahoe. We needed gas, but we're running late, like always. We're on Mexican time.
That's right.
So we get to the gas station, fool, and my pops like pulls in kind of quick. Right at that gas station, it's there's a laundromat, there's a pupuseria. There's a lot of Latino businesses. There's a lady coming out of the laundromat, right? And when we come in, when we're like the way we came in, bro, she fucking like, my mom saw her, like she like froze, bro. And like she was like getting ready to lock the door, right? Like to the business, and she froze and she went back inside the business and she closed the door, and she was I just seen her staring at us, bro.
Should have ran.
I think she saw the white Tahoe, you know, so she
Yeah.
kind of, that shit was heartbreaking as fuck,
Damn.
bro. And then she was just in the business until my dad hopped out, and she was like, oh, it's a fellow paisano, you know,
that's
like,
fucked.
yeah, bro. And then when she saw that, she locked the business and she started speed walking like towards the
running
corner. I
out.
don't know if she was going to the bus stop or where she was going, but that was heartbreaking as
fucked
fuck,
up.
dog.
Yeah.
So it hasn't happened to me, bro. Not yet. Hopefully it doesn't, but it's happened to people I know, and I'm seeing it in my community, bro. So I'm gonna speak on it, dog. It's not.
Yeah.
It's what they're doing is wrong, bro.
It's, you know, I agree with Chicken Wing. You know, the media's playing with everyone's emotions. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree there's a lot of fake news out there on both sides. But I think here on this podcast, everybody here can speak truth to power about us seeing it with our own two eyes, us seeing people within our community that we know personally that have no political agenda,
Yeah.
who are reporting what's happening, who are recording videos about what's happening. And it gets me because I saw OG, I saw Gil up here on Monday talking about a situation that happened down in Santana. The video that I showed you about the gentleman who's being beat by supposedly federal agents, which I still think they're mercenaries. Let's call them by their real name, right?
Or goons.
Or
Fuck
goons, you know, goons, where they were beating this gentleman who was doing his job. He's a landscaper who was out there doing his work, doing his job, fixing the lawn out there. And I live right around the corner. I happen to have one of my friends who was actually at that intersection while it was happening. He was not the individual who sent in the video to one of the community pages there in Santa Ana Problem. Shout out to y'all for keeping the community informed. But he has, I think a lot of people in the chat have probably seen what's happening. This individual, Narciso Barranco, has 3 Marine sons. And one of his sons is a veteran who fought in the Iraq war. And then he has 2 of them that are currently enrolled, right? They're currently active. They're currently on active duty. Wanted to mention, because one of the questions that I also see a lot on social media is like, well, why aren't they working on this paperwork, and what has taken so long, and such and so forth. I don't know if you've ever gone through like the immigration process. It is so backed up. Like that thing takes years upon years upon years for you to get any real work done or any actually
just to start the process.
Yeah, just to start the process. But I wanted to read something that is currently enacted for our Marines and anybody else in the military service, right? It's something called parole in place. It allows spouses, parents, or children of U.S. military members to remain in the U.S. without deportation and adjust their status. Because the one thing that I know, and this is proof positive that these attacks aren't coordinated, these attacks aren't justified, that there's no warrant, no rhyme or reason, is because this man is currently going through the process. And this particular statute protects him. Yeah. Because if you've had a conversation, and I know his sons have already mentioned that they are going through the process to get legality for his dad and his mom to be citizens. Yeah. And it just blows my mind that people will sit there and will defend these goons who you had 5 or 6 individuals who were beating on this 50 some odd year old man, right? When they already had him subdued. You had keep in mind
did all the right things.
And who is doing the right things, right?
Who's going through the process.
You had individuals in the comments saying, well, don't let the media lie to you, and they're playing on your emotions, Gil, and such and so forth. I'm like, bro, we saw this firsthand. We saw it with our community members out there. Yep. And it's either you calling all of us a liar, or you just don't want to open your eyes to what's happening.
Willful ignorance.
And 100% is definitely willful ignorance, right? And it breaks my heart to see it, because if you would have saw the first half of that particular video, is you have these 4 goons, masked up goons, who are running guns drawn, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a lot of friends who are in the military, who are police officers. And the one thing that they will tell you, right, is complete protocol, right? Rules of engagement. There's a protocol for you to be able to draw your weapon on a civilian or anybody in general. So you can clearly see in that particular video, right, that these individuals are running with their guns drawn, and they're pointing their weapons at innocent civilians, not just the individual that they're chasing.
So crazy. Bro.
They're pointing it at the cars surrounding them, because the light is green and you want to dart in front of traffic, right? So instead of you putting out your hands and saying, hey, stop, you point a gun at somebody that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it's not a battlefield, dog.
Not at all. And it just, like I said, I do agree that there's a lot of fake news and fake media out there, and the mass media is playing with our emotions, because if you're not here seeing it firsthand, if you're not here boots on the ground, you're not in LA, you're not in Santana, you're not in the Valley, you're not in California, and you're seeing this from other states, you're seeing us individuals out there depicted as rioters, depicted as violent individuals. And that is not the case. There are paid actors on both sides that have a vested interest in this thing going left, but that is not the case for the majority of the individuals out there who are fighting for our freedom, are fighting for our family members. And I guess the one thing that I would tell people out there is put yourself in that situation. If you had mass individuals who refuse to identify themselves, are coming in unmarked cars, and are rolling up on you, guns drawn, wanting to put you into a vehicle without due process, without any of that, like, what would your reaction be to that?
Yeah, you have a problem with the cartel, right? Looks very similar to me, dog. The one thing I'm gonna say, bro, is like, look, if you're gonna question it, investigate it. It's really that simple, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't just sit there and say something's not happening. What people are saying is happening is some pretty fucked up shit. And if it is happening, you should want to know, right? And if it's not, you should have the evidence to say why it's not and educate people, because then you're on to something. But people saying that there are a bunch of masked guys running around beating the dog shit out of people and kidnapping them, and then they just go missing, it's kind of not a small deal. If you remember not too long ago, there was that viral moment where by the LA train tracks, by the Cesar Chavez Bridge, they had all that help laid out in the pipes and shit in that yard. And then you had all those Hillary Clinton fucking cargo crates there and shit. And the next thing you know, you have all these kids going missing and people going missing, bro. It's like, why are we pretending like this isn't fucked up?
I want you to take that comment. I want you to take that comment.
This is
that's
just
you
crazy
right
to me, but complaints about ICE behavior. Don't Raza pride themselves on the Aztec culture, some barbaric behavior ICE is displaying. So did the Aztecs just on a walk to Mexico. Let's not be hypocritical.
That literally is hypocritical. Like, that's retarded, bro. That's like being like, that's big retarded, fool. That's like being like, hey, since these fools did some, so should we do that with the Germans? Was that the answer? Instead of actually going through a whole Nuremberg trial, should we have just gathered up all the Germans and been like, hey, let's just throw them in concentration camps and gas chambers? Because that's what all of them did. And not just the SS, but the people. Let's take all the people. Like, that's the dumbest thing. And keep in mind, bro, that's like a whole different culture from a whole different time frame, dog. If you really want to sit down and talk about barbarism, it's in the name, dog. We're not barbarians anymore.
Exactly.
Right? We're supposed to be better than that.
Barbaric times.
Yeah, dog. And if you're gonna sit down and talk shit and call like the Azteca people barbarians, then shouldn't you hold yourself to a higher fucking standard than to be like, well, our ICE agents can do the same and you should be all right with that? Like, that's the dumbest shit in the world, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy because you see a lot of these bots. You see a lot of people. You see the war, right? You see the war online where you just have all these agitators, and I see a lot of them, bro. Yeah. I see a lot of them hiding behind private profiles where they go on to. You see the same messages.
It's got the albinism. Don't worry about the name, fool.
Exactly, right? Like, you see all these individuals making outlandish comments on people's posts, on public posts, and hide behind, private profiles. Because the one thing that I also want to remind my people who are out there fighting for justice is there are individuals out there that want to pull you out of your character. And there are individuals out there online specifically that their whole purpose is for them to agitate you, for them to push you, for them to get you out of your character. And we need to address that as well.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, bro, the question you ask says everything, dog. Like, if you have a moment to ask a question on a serious topic and you can't even like qualify it with any type of substance, it just says where you're at, dog. You know what I mean? You can sit down and actually have a real conversation. If you're really right about some shit, you don't start with like a dumbass comment. You know what I mean? You have a moment to sit down and actually prove your point. But you can tell a lot when people just make 2 cent arguments.
Yeah, nah, man. I mean,
I thought that was a lemon.
You thought that was what?
I thought that was a lemon. Freddie Flores, he's a lemon.
Oh,
yeah, it's a clap. That's crazy.
He fucked with that comment apparently.
Brown on banging is very
brown on brown gang banging is very barbaric, is what he said.
What does that mean though? That's crazy.
I think that's another thing that we've kind of advocated on this platform, right? Is being better members of our community.
It's kind of the point.
Mentors, right? Yeah. It's a bill of lies. A lot of these social qualms that we go through, right? It's because, there aren't economic opportunities. It's by design. A lot of people out there in the comments, I would advise you guys to watch. I don't know if you've ever seen this documentary on Netflix. It's not a new documentary, but it's the 13th. Talking about the 13th Amendment.
I don't think so.
Talking about the creation of the police state, and things of that nature. So you can find it on Netflix.
Caller, what's up, man? You live? Hello, what's up, caller?
Fuck. Hello?
Yo, caller, you're live.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
All right, for sure. I just wanted to expand a little bit on what you guys were just talking about.
Okay.
And if at any moment you guys can't hear me or if I sound choppy, let me know and then I'll pause.
Sure.
Alrighty.
Okay. So you guys were, I think, talking about somebody in the comment section. They made a stupid comment about comparing aspects and yada, yada, yada. That's stupid shit. So, and then you guys kind of concluded with that, people with fake profiles come to agitate. So I wanted to expand on that.
Okay.
And I wanted to share that myself, I'm like damn near middle aged, almost fucking 40.
Okay.
So I just want to give a little bit of context. Almost 40. I remember back in like 2006, I was like fresh out of high school, and the protests were going on back then. It was immigration. It was what was it called? It was pro-immigration, but it was basically wanting amnesty. And this was back in 2006. So in that time, immigration advocacy was very different than what it is 5 years ago and even today. So where I wanted to go with that is that basically in that time, I went to go protest. There was like there was a lot of protests going on at that time, nationwide. So I went to the one in my city at the time, and there was agitators that would drive by the protest. It was a peaceful protest. Nobody was doing any ruckus. And people do come by, they're driving by in the street, and for whatever reason, they just feel so triggered, so emotionally in opposition to what people are protesting that they'll stop in the middle of the street to agitate the crowd. So what happened is this lady with her kids, she was in a Jeep, white lady. He stopped in the middle of the street with her kids in the back seat. He got out of her car, was yelling, talking shit, got a reaction out of people, and sure enough, the police came because she was just there, with her vehicle in the middle of the street. So I got to make a confession that I fucking went there. I was like fresh out of high school, dude. I was like 18 years old. I brought with me a set of eggs. Anyway, I threw an egg, but I didn't fucking hit her. I didn't hit her, bro. But I tried. She agitated me, and I fucking I fell for the bait. So either way, the cop fucking So either way, the cop came and fucking it played into her goal, which was to agitate and discredit the group, because it's just like when someone does some dirty shit where they sucker punch somebody, and then a cop comes, oh, officer, I was being attacked, that type of shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna leave that to the side. Now fast forward back in 2016. Now I'm like an older fucking dude, and I'm living in another city. And it was if you guys remember the "Not My President" protest when Trump first won the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to one of those, and this one was a little bit different because it was a lot of young people I saw, bro. It was like kids in fucking high school still, and it was like 50% kids in high school, 40% dudes like in their early 20s, and the other last, I don't know, 15% were like fools like me. They just stood out like older dudes. But anyway, in this one, people were protesting. It was peaceful, but then they started to walk all in the streets, kind of blocking traffic a little bit. But they weren't very successful at it, but they tried. So anyway, what I wanted to say, long story short, is that in this protest, also some agitators came, Brian. And this one was this whole scenario was more violent than the one I went to in 2006. In this one, there was like, I'm not too familiar with that area because I moved up there, but in this area, there was like some white gangs over there, some supremacist gangs. One of them was out and they banged on me. He was a little kid though. I couldn't tell you what he said. If I try to repeat what he said, it just wouldn't make sense because it was some shit that sounded like chikri. It sounded weird, bro, but it was some white shit. And they were really trying to provoke violence. In this protest, it was organized, but not as organized as another that I'm going to mention to you. But in this protest, everybody met downtown. The police were there, and very interesting. The police seen all of the anti-Trump protesters, and then a few of the pro-Trump protesters. The police threw up their hands and said, "Everybody," almost like a signal when you're like saying, "Some race cars, everybody go, let's go race, like let's go."
Yeah. All right, caller, you got about 15 seconds, 20 seconds, bro. Gotta get to the point here so we could get other callers in here.
Pretty much that there's agitators that come by. I was at a recent No Kings protest, same thing. People come and agitate you to discredit you.
No, yeah,
so
of course.
As hard as it is, don't give in to that provocation. That's it.
No, yeah, appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you, caller.
Yeah, dog.
He's right, bro. There'd be so much rage baiting going on,
Bro.
So they just
rage baiting amongst
they
us.
want to
dog.
see you crash out.
Bro.
They want to see
It's-
you crash out.
I think there's so much rage bait amongst us, bro. It's I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've seen in our community where you have each of us, you know, people within our own community pointing the finger at each other,
Yeah.
saying, you know, saying that you voted for Trump.
You can pick it up. We'll get him
Here
in
we
here
go.
for a bit. Hey, Bama, you got like
Hey, I
30
forgot
to a
something.
minute, bro, because we're gonna be wrapping up soon.
Hey, man, you starting to get worse than American Cholo, man.
What's up,
Hey,
Bama?
so the last caller pretty much talked for like 15 minutes with a pointless story, and then you guys even say thank you for the call, and then you guys be hanging up on me because you guys are fucking allergic to entertainment, pretty much. That's what I'm
Allergic to
saying.
entertainment. Nah,
I
man,
forgot to
because it
cover-
was
hey,
almost time to
hey,
wrap
Damn,
up.
fool, you wasting your 30 seconds, dog.
Hey, y'all straight,
You sound
straight.
just like the
Let's
guy
go have
before,
fun.
bro. You just babbling, saying nothing right now, G. No, I'm just playing. That guy before had a point at least. Fuck, fool.
I forgot to cover
Come on,
sports, man.
come on, get it out. You remember that video?
Hey, Mark Anthony, who do you think is gonna win? Deportation?
Not you if it's a fucking speaking contest, dog. Holy shit. Have you ever spoken in front of people?
Motherfucker, hell yeah!
I don't seem like it, dog. You got like a stuttering problem like a motherfucker. You sound like my fucking truck trying to start up in the morning, dog.
Man, fuck you and your welding job.
Fuck you and your
Everything
speaking.
got
I
that
mean, you
welding.
gotta figure that out, dog. You got a speech impediment, dog. Like, don't worry about that. You have to say fuck you off your chest easy, but fuck, man.
Hey, ever
Say
since you started welding, now
seashells
you-
by the seashore, dog. Do that one time.
All right, Bama, what's up, man?
Hey, what do you think about the fights, the UFC fights, Mark Anthony?
Which ones?
Well, the main event. Who
Well,
do you think you'll win?
I think that fucking Khalil bodied old boy. That's the only fight I give a shit about, dog. I don't know why they gave him that fool.
No, the one's coming up on Saturday. Max-
Who's
it's
fighting?
gonna
Who's the
be
main again?
Taporia versus
Taporia's
Charles
beating the
Oliveira.
shit out of Oliveira, dog. He's gonna send that motherfucker to the shadow realm, dog.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, you got Oliveira?
Well, he's bigger.
I don't mean shit, bro.
Oh, come on, bro. That's like you trying to wrestle with Doughboy. What do you think's gonna happen?
It's the
He'll win.
same weight class, dog.
And that that he went up in a weight class. That little Taporia's a little tiny little baby, bro.
Dog,
Sorry,
Taporia's a high level striker, fool. Like
I know, but he's fighting big. He was fighting little dude. Now he's fighting like Charles Oliveira.
and you
pretty
think he
big, man.
doesn't like spar big dudes? You think he doesn't fly fucking Brazilian monsters out to fucking spar? The fool's got all the money in the world, and he's got hands, dog. You think? Okay, let me ask you this: how do you think Oliveira wins?
Well, I don't know. Probably. See. The thing is that this is the first time he goes up a weight class, so I don't know. I've seen people.
So that's
try to
the
go
only
low.
thing, though. But not. I'm not asking about Ilya, fool. How does Charles win?
Probably submission, maybe.
Do you think Ilya doesn't have a ground game?
Well, if Charles grabs your neck, that's how he wins.
Okay,
most of the
so
time. He
check it
grabs-
out. You're saying that weight is the factor for you, but if Charles were to grapple the guy, weight has nothing to do with grappling, dog, or jujitsu at all.
No, but most of his wins are like by submission.
Yeah,
And he got and Charles Oliveira got hands, so
not anywhere near Ilya, dog. Charles had to come back in his career, fool, and he's been doing good, but Charles was getting washed up for a second there. And then he had his comeback. Ilya's got a very clean record, dog, of just sending dudes into a whole nother atmosphere, bro. Yeah, your time's almost up, G.
All right, Bama, you got your answer, my boy. And in depth.
I see you guys next week, man, and I need to see all y'all over there. All right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you tuning in always, bro.
How you call with that Boost Mobile from over there, dog?
That's a 2000 and
You're on that Obama line,
joke right there, bro.
and they work.
All right, Bama, appreciate you, bro.
How big dog?
Yeah, all right, peace.
All right, G.
Later.
Stay up, man.
Man, talking about that fight, you know who also's fighting? Who I'm fucking super disappointed to see? Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Oh,
I know. I have here in the comments that Julio's gonna knock out Jake Paul. Nah,
if he wants to show up, that lazy ass fool,
Where do you see that? I see more Jake Paul
I think Jake Paul's gonna
knocking
beat
out
him.
Julio. That's what I'm seeing. Oh yeah, I see. I see one.
Y'all see that clip of him getting knocked out though?
Who?
Jake?
Jake?
Yeah, there's that like grainy ass fucking footage of him with some training partner who like slipped an uppercut and just knocked this fool out.
Nah, I haven't seen it.
I gotta find it. I'll send it to y'all. But yeah, that's fucking disgusting to even set that fight up, dog.
Yeah,
that's just
bro.
gross, fool. I don't know why you do that.
He's trying to set himself up. Supposedly, I think it's the WBO and the WBC are gonna rank him if he beats Julio.
What the fuck?
Because his whole goal after this is to fight Zurdo Ramirez. So Zurdo is one of the current WBC cruiserweight champions.
Dog.
So if he fights Zurdo, right? If after this it's like, hey, this is a regular fight at cruiserweight, I'm like, bro, I think Zurdo's gonna murder him.
Yeah.
Like even though I don't like I said, I don't really like how Zurdo fights, but Zurdo is a professional.
Yep.
He's a world champion. He's talking about fighting somebody real. But I really do think that Jake Paul beats Julio Cesar
That's
Chavez
such a
Jr.
shitty fucking.
Chavez is. I'm gonna rock with Chavez.
As much as I want to rock with him, bro, like
with him.
that
he
fool don't
just-
show up.
that fool just disrespects the sport time and time again, bro.
Yeah.
Like
And
he
his
conti-
legacy, dog.
He continues to get paydays, bro. You see his dad. His dad is a living
Well,
legend.
that's why he's gonna continue to get paid.
You see his dad like on the you ever see his dad on the corner, bro? Like he's like, man, this fool again. Like when he lost to Anderson Silva.
Yep.
Bro, Anderson Silva's 138 years old. MMA fighters, never boxed in his life. And you lose a boxing match to that
Dude,
man?
Yeah, hey, his pops is active. That fool talks the most shit.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that fool's active.
I saw a clip of him today where they showed him a fight of Jake Paul and he was just laughing.
Yeah.
He's like, that's bullshit.
Dude, he's active, fool. That fool be talking shit.
Super active,
Nah,
bro.
that's a fucking gross fight to start up, dog. And that's just not the way to get up in here. Like, if that's the case, fool, why don't you just get into boxing and start working your way up, dog?
Yeah. But what's up, gentlemen? Anything y'all want to say before we wrap this episode up, man?
I mean, I guess my bad for not being here for a couple, homie. It's been great in Mexico. But there's one thing I did want to say, man. I met this really cool cat, bro. His name's Wicked_Arts on Instagram. The fool got down. He showed me a lot of love on this ink that I got. But yeah, go tap in with it, man. From La Familia.
That's right.
Oh, shout out to him. Shout out,
Man,
Frankie.
just want to say everybody out there and everybody out there who's watching us, man, hopefully you guys stay safe. Really tiptoe around all the smoke and mirrors that are being put around right now. Be kinder to each other and just love each other.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to everybody who tuned in, man, in the chat. Everybody who showed love. Everybody who showed hate. And all the rage baiters. But it's another episode of What's the Word on Wednesdays, man. It's your boy, Doughboy Tony. We'll be back next week with another episode on the realest platform. American Cholo, y'all stay safe. God bless.
She.